All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. This is our seated exercise circuit. Today is week 4, aka our final week. Thanks for bearing with me this month. Hopefully, you've enjoyed the series so far. So, this is our seated exercise circuit, which means the entire class is in a seated position. Now, when you're doing this class at home, ideally you want to be sitting on a chair that does not have wheels at the bottom. So I'm thinking about computer chairs with wheels at the bottom. You want to try to avoid because as we get moving today, we just don't want the chair to be rolling out underneath you or moving out of control. And the other thing I did want to mention as well is with your seat, ideally you also want something without armrests. So if you can see my chair right there, does not have any armrests. And that's just so when we're moving today, we're not going to hit our elbows or knees on anything. But of course, if that's the only chair you have and it's got armrests, that's okay too. Just be a little bit mindful as we get moving today so that you don't injure yourself. And I also do have a bit of a cold today, so if you hear me sniffling, do ignore me. The class is recorded, just like always. So if you did want to redo the class or review any of the exercises we've been doing, either this entire month or just today, you're more than welcome to do so on the YouTube channel, which is Parkinson Society BC. If you're not sure where to find that, you can always send me an email and I will get the link over to you. Okay, I think most people are connected now. So because I'm on my own in this class, you might see me move up to the screen every now and then to let folks in from the waiting room. So if you see me do that, ignore what I'm doing and keep exercising. And hopefully will be as least disruptive as possible. And of course, you're more than welcome to write in the chat box if you have any questions, comments, or you can always unmute your microphone as well to speak. But I would like you to hold till the end of the class, if possible, in terms of asking questions if they're specific to exercise. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to make sure that you can see me okay. All right, perfect. Whoops. Okay, I got my timer here. I'm going to put beside me. So the way the class is going to work is just like our previous classes. We are going to start with a bit of a warm-up together. And then following the warm-up, we're going to be doing 5 exercises together, 2 minutes each exercise, and we're going to run through that twice. Now, the 2 minutes, I understand, can feel like a really long time when you're doing a challenging exercise. And so by all means, I'm not expecting all of you to be able to exercise for the entire 2 minutes. If you do need a break, that's absolutely fine. Please do take a break and try to get right back into it when you can, because we do want to work on a little bit of endurance, but of course we do want breaks when you need. And same with the speed of the class. If anything I'm doing is a little too fast, please feel free to slow it down. It's absolutely fine as long as you're maintaining the main portion of the exercise in terms of the quality. Sorry, my nose is just a bit runny again. I'm going to grab a tissue. I haven't been sick in a long time, so this feels strange. Okay, let's get started. Now I'm going to turn my chair sideways for a second. So you can see when I'm sitting up in my chair, I am at the front of my seat and my back is nice and straight away from the backrest of the seat. So we want to make sure that even though we are sitting the entire class, we don't want to be relaxing in our chair. So us sitting up here and being in this sort of activated position is very different to if we were to exercise back here leaning like this. Because if we're back here, it's actually pretty hard to move your arms and legs in different directions because our weight is so far back and we're not really engaging our trunk muscles. So we want to use our trunk muscles. We want to sit upright and move to the front of the chair so that we're right on our sit bones and we have the range in our joints to be able to move. So use this as a bit of a reminder throughout the class today that we want to be in this kind of forward ready position rather than back in our seat. Unless I specifically tell you to slouch, which we will do at some point in the class. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to start with our warm-up. What we're going to start with today is feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. We're going to start by breathing in. Sweeping the arms all the way up overhead. Clasp your hands together. Give it a big tug towards the ceiling, like someone's pulling you up to the ceiling. And then we're going to circle our wrists all the way back down. Keyword on the circle. Okay, and again, breath in. And reach up, lengthening through the spine. And then we're going to circle the wrists all the way back down. One more breath in. Lengthening, pulling towards the ceiling. And circle all the way back down. We're going to float the arms up into a T. And we're going to bring ourselves down into a side stretch, noticing that my body is moving sideways. I'm not just moving my arms, but my entire body is moving sideways, keeping your chest facing forward. Think about your shoulder going towards your hip. And coming back up, drop the arms for a second, bring them back up again. Same to the other side. You're thinking about that shoulder going to the hip. Arms reaching out away from each other, chest facing forward. And coming back up, drop the arms. We're going to take our hand, hold on to our opposite knee, and our other hand is going to wrap around the back of the chair. So grab hold of the chair wherever you can. Sit up tall. And we're going to rotate around into a rotational stretch. You want to think about your spine like a corkscrew. So you're in the middle, you're upwards, and you're rotating on the spot. And just be a bit mindful here if you've got painful backs, maybe don't go quite as far. And release, same to the other side. Take your hand, grab hold of the opposite knee. Other hand's going to wrap around the back of the seat. Pull up nice and tall and rotate on the spot. Nicely done. Hopefully you're still breathing. And we're released from the stretch. From here, we're going to circle one arm backwards. If you've got shoulder issues and you can't go all the way up, that's okay. Just go as far as you can. Even if it's kind of here, that's fine too. We're circling the arm back. Nicely done. And then when you're ready, we're going to take our other arm and we're going to circle it forward. So one arm is circling back and one arm is circling forward. This probably feels a little strange, but you want to make sure the arms hit the top at the same time and they hit the bottom at the same time, even though they're circling in different directions. A bit of a brain teaser for you this morning. I also forgot to mention that I'm wearing my Super Walk shirt because I want to advertise our Parkinson Super Walk coming up in September. Our website has launched, so please do check it out. Okay, and relax the arms. We're going to start with our other arm this time. So whichever one you didn't start with first, we're using that one, and we're going to circle back. So same as before, if you can't go all the way up, that's okay. Just go as far as you're able to, as big of a circle as you're able to. And then when you're ready, your other arm is going to circle in the opposite direction. So one arm circling back, one arm circling forward. Probably feels like swimming a little bit. Nicely done. Ooh, very good. Keep going. A few more. And let's release. Let's march on the spot now. Nice soft marches. When I say soft, I mean as if we're kind of going a little bit of a slower pace than you might normally do. Just to get the arms swinging, get the legs moving. Doesn't have to match my pace. Go at a pace that works for you. So we just want to start thinking about the opposition of the arms and legs. And hopefully you're swinging the arms backwards as much as you're going forward. So keep going for a second. If I turn sideways, you can see my arms are swinging back as much as they're going forward. So I'm not like this, but I'm swinging them back as well. You want to think about that opposition in the arms, kind of like what we just did with those arm circles. One is going forward, one is going back. Keep going, I'm turning around. Excuse my sniffles. Keep going. Good, nicely done. We're going to keep this marching pattern, but this time we're going to go out, out, in, out, out, in. So exactly the same marching. We're just moving those legs out and then in. Exactly the same marching pattern, just moving those legs out and in, out and in. Still swinging the arms. Nicely done. Okay, let's do some heel digs forward and straightening, pushing the arms forward in front. We're tapping the heels down, and we're spreading those palms nice and wide and pushing the arms forward. Nicely done, really spreading the fingers. Ooh, very good. Keep going. Tapping of the heels and reaching those arms forward. Let's go sideways. Can we go sideways and opening the arms, also spreading the fingers nice and wide as you're reaching out to the side. Nicely done. Remember, it doesn't have to match my speed. Whatever you're doing, you're more than welcome to slow it down or speed it up if you want a challenge, but just make sure that you're still moving as big as possible. Okay, let's do some heel digs forward and scooping with the opposite arm to leg. So it's almost like there's something on the floor you want to pick up. You're scooping it up. You're scooping it up. Opposite arm to leg. You're hinging at the hips, leaning forward to scoop up some imaginary object off the floor. I've also got a baby brain today, so if I lose my train of thought, please ignore me. Nicely done. And rest. Okay, let's move on to our main exercise portion. We've got 5 exercises. We're going to do 2 minutes each, and we're going to run through that twice. So the first exercise we're doing, I might move back a tiny bit. First exercise we're doing, we are going to start with our arms like so, with our hands and fists, and we're going to be pushing our arms forward and kicking our leg forward like this. Push and kick at the same time. And I'm going to pull and bring my foot back down. Other side, push and pull. Push and pull. So the emphasis of the movement, as you can see, is quite sharp and crisp and powerful. And that's kind of what we want to embody here. And it's almost like you're kicking down a door. So you want to show me the bottom of your foot if possible. If you can't and you have to go lower, that's okay too. But you really want to keep that crisp, sharp, powerful type of quality. We're going push and pull and push and pull. That's our first exercise. And we're going to try to go for 2 minutes. Of course, if you need a break, please take a break. But if you are taking a break, get right back into it if you can. All right, are we ready? We go in 3, 2, 1. Off we go. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. Nicely done. Really spread those fingers nice and wide. Push, pull, push, pull. Really imagine there's someone in front of you that you're pushing away, so your arms are extending as far as you can and pulling back towards you as hard as you can. And push and pull. Nicely done. Keep going. Hopefully you're still sitting up nice and tall. We're not leaning back into the chair. We're still sitting forward in our seats. Push and pull, nice and sharp with movement. Nicely done, everybody. You got 1 minute left. Use your breath if it helps you muster a little bit more of an effort. Nicely done, everybody. Really spread those fingers. Spread them out, spread them out. Pushing someone away and then pulling them towards you. The push and the pull should be equally forceful. Nicely done. 30 seconds. Keep going, sitting nice and tall, really extending the arms. Don't let your arms do this. No T-Rex arms. Really straighten out the elbows as you push. And push. And push. Nicely done. Keep going. 15 seconds. Last 10. You got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Well done, everybody. Whew. Exercise 1 out of the way. Okay. Exercise number 2, we are going to do some punches, but we're going to kind of change this a little bit today. So our arms are here. We're going to do some punches to the corner. So if you imagine you're in a square room, you might not be, but imagine you're in the square room and you kind of want to direct your punches towards the front 2 corners of the square. So it looks like this. See how I'm punching to the corner and the same leg as arm is reaching in the opposite direction. And then same to the other side. I'm punching across the body. That same leg is reaching out on the other diagonal. So remember I was talking about a square. So imagine you're in a square room and there are 2 diagonals. Whoops, I'm just letting somebody in from the waiting room. So imagine you're in a square room and you've got the 2 diagonals, the 2 corners in front of you in the room. You're punching and reaching to the opposite side, like that. Okay, so we're punching, rotating across the body and reaching the leg out. Okay, that's our second exercise. Are we ready? We're gonna go for 2 minutes. I'll reset my clock. We go in 3, 2, 1, off we go. Across the body and reach that leg. Make sure you're actually punching. We don't want it to be a reach. We want it to be a punch. Emphasis on the punch for the effort, the extra power. Nicely done. Think about the punch, not reach. Punch. And hopefully your opposite leg, or sorry, the same leg is reaching in the opposite direction. The leg is the reach, but the arms are punching. Across the body. Across the body. So there's a nice rotation across the body. Hopefully you're not holding your breath. Nicely done, everybody. You got 1 minute left, 60 seconds. Remember, if you absolutely need a break, that's okay. Take a break and get right back in if you can. Or if this is too fast and you want to slow it down, that's okay. Slow it down. But you really want to think about that power as you're punching. 30 seconds. Nicely done. Keep breathing. Punch and reach that leg. 20 seconds. Last 15. Keep going. Get the arm and leg away from each other, reaching in the opposite direction. And time. Rest. Woo, done. Shake out those arms if you need. Shake out those legs if you need. Okay, very good. That was our second exercise. So we are now on our third exercise with a total of 5 exercises. So our third exercise is going to be our wood chops. You might remember this if you've done my classes before. We're going to clasp our hands together. I'm going to reach them up towards one side. So as the name implies, imagine you're chopping some wood essentially, but we're kind of going on a diagonal. So the hands are clasped and we're bringing them to the top corner. And then from here, we're going to chop down in one smooth motion to the outside of our opposite leg, like this. And then now we do the same thing on the other side. That's it. So we're essentially chopping in a diagonal to the opposite hip. And you'll notice my leg lifts off. Like that. Okay, let's try. We've got 2 minutes. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, off we go. Yes, very good. Think about that wood chop analogy. You're really thinking about that power on that drive down. If it's too hard to keep your hands clasped, you can separate the hands, but really try to throw them to the outside of the opposite hip. So it's up to you. If you find that it's too hard to keep your hands clasped, you can absolutely take your hands apart, but think about throwing both of them down towards the opposite hip, whatever works for you. Hopefully you're still sitting up nice and tall. We're not leaning back in our seat. 1 minute. Ooh, my headphones just said they're low battery, so hopefully you'll still be able to hear me. Keep going. Apparently technology is not my friend today. Wood chops to the side, to the outside of the opposite hip. Nicely done. You've got 35 seconds left. Remember, if you need a break, that's okay. Take a break, but get right back into it if you can. Think about that power on the downwards chop. 15 seconds, you're almost there. Last 5. And time. Well done, everybody. Shake out those arms if you need. Give yourself a little bit of a pat if you need, if those arms are feeling a bit sore. Well done. Okay. Exercise number 4 looks like this. We're going to start with the feet about hip width apart, so just a little bit closer than your seat. And we're going to do here, one leg is going to step out to the side. We're going to imagine our hands are dipped in mud, and we're going to flick the mud towards the ceiling, but the leg is out to the side. And then we're going to flick the mud towards the floor as the leg comes back in. Same to the other side. Flick and flick. Flick and flick. Flick and flick. So the hands look like this. I'm flicking the mud, the imaginary mud off my hands. So I'm not just like this, I'm flicking. So you really think about that power with the ends of the fingers with the flick. Let me show you that again. We're gonna step out and down, and up and down. So the arms go up and the leg goes out, and everything comes in together. Like that. Okay, are we ready? Okay, off we go in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Up and down, up and down. Really flip and flip. Think about that imaginary mud. Flip and flip. Remember, it does not have to be the same speed as what I'm doing. You're, of course, more than welcome to slow it down. But if you are slowing it down, I still want to see that same powerful technique of the flip and the flip. If your movements are getting smaller, have a little bit of a break and get right back into it. So try to get that movement as big and exaggerated as you can. The sillier you feel, the better. If you feel extra silly, you're probably doing it right. Nicely done, everybody. I feel like I'm less chatty today because I'm sick. That's probably good for you guys. Normally I talk too much. You got 1 minute left. Actually, a little less. Think about that flick, 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 flick. Nicely done, everybody. Big flips. Flips. 30 seconds. Make sure when the leg goes out, it goes out. We're not just keeping it on the spot, but we're really thinking about stepping out. 20 seconds. Nicely done. You've got 15. Last 10. And time. Rest, everyone. Oh my goodness. Well done. Okay, that was exercise number 4. So you have 1 exercise left, and then we do all 5 again, and then you're done. So our last exercise is going to be our sit to stand, the slow sit to stand that we did a couple of weeks ago. Oops. Hopefully you'll remember. Let me show you from the side. So we're practicing our sit to stand, and the key word here is slow. So we're not trying to use momentum to swing ourselves up, and we're not starting at the back of our seat like this, because when your weight is this far back in your chair and your base of support, in this case, your feet, is that far forward, you're not going to be able to stand, even if you're super strong. Because look at this. If I'm trying to stand, it's very hard because your weight's too far back. And so you got to bring your weight forward as close to your base of support as possible, so that when you are standing, you can imagine someone's grabbing your shirt, pulling you forward such that your center of gravity is right on top of your base of support. And then once you're balanced on top of your base of support, you can push the floor away from you to then stand up straight. Can you see that? Versus if I'm back here and I'm swinging, a lot of the times you feel like you need to pull on something to bring you forward. Or you end up doing this, where you have to push into the chair to stand up. But we don't want that. We want to be able to use our strength to be able to stand up without having to pull on something or push on the chair. When I say push on the chair, I mean back of the legs, not the hands. So we're going to start at the front of our seat, and we're going to lean forward, so much so that your bottom lifts off the seat. You want to get your center of gravity right over your base of support, aka your feet. And then you're going to push the floor away from you to stand up. And then sitting down, exactly the same thing. You're sticking your bottom back, chest forward, keeping your center of gravity on top of your base of support to slowly lower down, nice and quiet and slow. Now, for an added challenge today, if that's quite easy for you, we're going to bias one of our legs. So it looks like this. One leg is going to be forward, one leg. So our legs start here. One leg is going to go forward, and the other leg stays where it is. So we're biasing this back leg here. And we're going to think of this leg as our base of support. So we're going to lean forward over that base of support and then push up. The other leg in front is kind of just there as a bit of a a support for balance really, but you're not really putting weight on it. So you can see I can lift my leg anytime. And then same thing when you're sitting down, this leg is the base of support. You're bending over that leg, keeping your center of gravity balanced to then sit down. And then you can do the same thing on the other leg. Now, if you don't want to do the standing version, that's okay. You can keep yourself in a low position. And then all you're going to do exactly the same thing of bringing your center of gravity forward over your base of support, except what you're going to do here is you're just going to then sit back down. So you're doing a bum lift. But when I say bum lift, we're not doing this, right? Doesn't count. You really need to think about that center of gravity forward over your base of support with the added challenge, lift your arms and then lower down. So up to you which version you want to do, but the keyword here is slow. Okay, are we ready? Let's put the timer on. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, off we go. So up to you what version you want to do. Either the standing version or the seated version. If you're doing the standing version, you're more than welcome to try this single leg balance, or the single leg bias, sorry. If you're sitting down, you're welcome to do your bum lift with the added of the arms moving away from the chair. Whatever is easier for you. If you don't want to do the leg bias and you're doing the standing version, that's okay. Bring your legs back to the normal position of both of them being level, and then you do the same sit to stand. That's fine too. Whichever version works for you, but you really want to think about controlling this and thinking about where your center of gravity is. Really feeling your center of gravity within your base of support as much as possible. If you're not too sure about your balance when you're standing, you're of course more than welcome to have a walker in front of you or a table or something sturdy just in case you feel like you might go forward. But you really want to think about keeping your center of gravity on top of your base of support so that, yes, you're moving your center of gravity forward to bring it over your base of support, but as you stand, your center of gravity kind of goes back to the middle. Nice and slow. And if you're doing the bum lift version, same thing, looks like this. Arms off if you like, or you just keep your hands on the chair. Either one is absolutely fine. 15 seconds. Oh, I talk so much, the time just goes by really fast. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, how was that? Hopefully that exercise is getting a little easier. If not, don't worry. Think of all the times you would do a sit to stand during the day, getting on and off the toilet, on and off the bed, on and off the dining chair, whatever it may be. Take a moment to see if you can practice this so that you are getting that control every time you stand up. Okay, so that was our 5 exercises. We're going to do all 5 again from the beginning. I might lower this down because I think on my screen there's a little bit of a shadows happening. Is that better? I can't tell. Probably. I think you can see me okay there. Oops. Okay. And I'm actually, before we start our next set, I'm actually going to take my headphones away because I think it's going to interfere. Okay. Can everyone hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can. Okay, perfect. Good. I'm just disconnecting my headphones because it's saying it's low battery and I don't want it to cut out halfway through. Okay. So we're starting the circuit again from the beginning. Exercise number 1 was this one where we do our push and pull and push and pull. Do you remember this one? The push and the pull. And we're really emphasizing on that sharp, crisp, powerful effort. So we're not just going like this. I'm exaggerating, no one's doing it like that, but we want to make sure we're really extending and exaggerating every push and pull. Okay, are we ready? Timer is going now. We start in 3, 2,
One, off we go. Push and pull and push and pull. Push and pull. Nicely done. Push and pull and push and pull. Really think about that nice strong effort, and hopefully you're showing me the bottom of your foot as much as possible. So don't just focus on the arms. You want the leg to be involved as well, and you're still sitting up nice and tall. Nobody should be slouching into their chairs. Imagine you're reaching and you're pushing and pulling someone towards you and away from you. And breathing out with each push and pull is helpful for that effort. Really think about extending, spreading those fingers nice and wide, and grabbing and pulling. You've got 60 seconds left. Nicely done, everyone. Nice, sharp, powerful effort. 45 seconds. Remember, if you absolutely need a break, take a break. That's okay. But get right back into it when you can, because we do want to work on that endurance. 30 seconds. Almost there. After this, you only have 4 exercises left and you're done. You're almost there. 15 seconds. Nice, strong. Push and pull. Push and pull. 5, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, that's the last time you're ever going to do that exercise. Okay. Exercise number 2. This is our punching and reaching our leg away, and it'll look like this. So same arm and leg, same arm and leg. One is punching, one is reaching. And this is the one where we're thinking about that square root. And we've got the 2 corners at the front, right? We've got the square and the 2 corners. That's the target zone. You're thinking about punching and reaching in that kind of corner. I'm exaggerating, moving a little bit bigger because on the screen it tends to look smaller. So I'm actually going a little more than the corners so you can see the movement, but you get the idea. You're aiming for the corners of the square root. Okay. Are we ready? A timer. We go in 3, 2, 1. Off we go. Thinking about punch. Yes, very good. Nice punches, everyone. Really think about that sharp punch. We're not reaching, we're not fist bumping, we're punching, punching, and the leg is reaching away. Who said chair exercises are easy? They can absolutely be high effort and high intensity, even though you're sitting. Keep going. Nicely done, everyone. Punch and reach. Remember, the movements you're doing does not have to be the same speed. You're more than welcome to slow it down if you need to, but I really wanted to maintain that punch effort. So we're not reaching our fist, we're punching, punching. So we want that sharp effort, 60 seconds. Punch, punch, punch. Not a reach, a punch. Almost like you're punching something as loud as you possibly can. 45 seconds. Nicely done. Don't be afraid to weight shift in your seat. Because in order to reach one leg out to the side, you have to weight shift to the opposite hip. So don't be afraid of doing that. It's okay to weight shift in that seat. In fact, that's exactly what we want. 25 seconds. Keep breathing. Big punch. Big punch. Last 15 seconds. You're almost there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, one, and rest. Woo, nicely done. Shake out those arms if you need. Oh my goodness. Okay, you have 3 exercises left, and then you're done. You're almost there. The next exercise is our wood chop. So you'll probably remember we clasp our hands together. We're going to reach them up to one corner, and then we're going to chop downward in one swift, powerful movement to the opposite hip, like this. And then we do the same thing on the other side. You'll notice my leg comes up. I'm doing a twist. I'm twisting towards the opposite hip. Now, if the arms clasp is too challenging, you're more than welcome to open the hands. So you throw both of them down towards the opposite hip. And you want to imagine you've got like a piece of wood that you're holding in your hands and you're kind of matching it down to the outside of your hips. But even if your hands are not clasped, you want it to be that powerful movement coming down. Okay. Are we ready? We go in 3, 2, 1, and off we go. Chopping down to the opposite hip. Think about the name, wood chops. So we're chopping down. Remember, if you can't clasp your hands or it feels awkward, that's okay. Imagine holding a piece of wood in your hands instead of bringing your hands together, and you smash that piece of wood down to the opposite hip. So as you can see what I'm doing here, my arms are not clasped, or sorry, my hands are not clasped, but I'm still thinking about chopping down towards the opposite hip. So either one works, but if your arms are apart, I want you to think about, imagine you've got a piece of wood. You've got a piece of wood, you're holding a plank of wood, you're holding in your arms or in your hands, and you're smacking that down to the opposite hip. Oh, I can't talk today. Keep going. You got 55 seconds left. 50 seconds. So whichever version you want to do is fine, whether it's with your hands clasped or unclasped, up to you. We're aiming for that chop, chop, chop. You got 30 seconds, you're almost there. You've only got 2 exercises left after this and you're done. You're so close. You're so close. 20 seconds. Last 15. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Oh my goodness. Shake up those arms. Pat your arms down if you feel like you need to. Shake up those legs. Move around. Well done. Okay, you've got 2 exercises left and then you're done. So the next one is the one we're pretending we've got mud, sticky mud stuck on our hands and in our arms. And we're going to flip the mud off toward the ceiling like this. Flick, flick. So I'm going out with my leg and in with my leg. Out and in. And meanwhile, my hands are like that. I'm flicking the entire time. So like this, flick, 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 and flick. Okay, are we ready? 2 minutes. Here we go. We go on 3, 2, 1, and off we go. Flick, 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 flick. Think about that sticky mud on your arms, and you're trying to get it off your arms. You're flicking it to the ceiling and towards the floor, and you're not in charge of cleanup. So go crazy. Keep going. Flip and flip, flip and flip. Just make sure that you're not only concentrating on the flicks of the arms, but you're also moving that leg at the same time. So moving the leg out at the same time. So even though we're doing this nice squat towards the ceiling and towards the floor, your leg is moving as well. We're not just reaching our hands up, we're flicking, flicking, flicking. Flick the arms up. Imagine that sticky mat on your arms and you're trying to get the mat to flick onto the ceiling. Get it to flick as high as you can onto the ceiling and then onto the floor. You got 50 seconds. Reach those arms a little further. If you're thinking about flicking as high into the ceiling as you can, you'll need to really extend those arms. 30 seconds. You're almost there. You can do this. Last bit of hard work. 20 seconds. Last 15. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Woo! Well done, everybody. Oh my goodness. Okay, you have one exercise left, and then you're done. The last exercise is nice and slow. The slower, the better. And this is our sit to stand. As you remember, we're really concentrating on weight shifting our center of gravity over our base of support. So we're making sure we're sitting at the fronts of our seats. We're not leaning back because we need our bottoms to be as close to our feet as possible. And then I'm going to imagine someone grabbing me by the shirt and pulling me forward. So someone's pulling me such that my center of gravity is over my base of support. And then I'm going to keep my center of gravity balanced over my base of support and push the floor away to stand. And then same thing all the way down. My bottom goes back and chest goes forward. But I'm keeping my center of gravity on top of my base of support, nice and slowly to lower down as that's the full version for standing, and you can bias your legs like we did earlier, where you have one leg forward, and so the back leg is the one that you're concentrating on for base of support. So the back leg is now your base of support, and you kind of balance over that back leg. And just make sure you switch legs. Or you can do this version where you do a bum lift, bring your center of gravity forward over your base of support, and then you sit back down. So either one works, and this is the last 2 minutes of hard work, and then you're done. And you'll never see this class again until we bring it back the next time. Okay, we go in 3, 2, 1, off we go. Up to you which version you want to do, either the full standing version or the bum lift version. And remember, you can add in the leg bites for both the bum lift and the standing version. Up to you. We're just trying to go slow. We're not trying to push the back of our legs onto our chairs, right? So we're not doing this and pushing our legs into the chair. Not that anyone's doing that. But you want to really rely on your legs, on the strength of your body to do this. And the slower, the better. No crash landing into your seat. You want to be as quiet as possible. And remember, if you don't want to do the leg bias, that's fine. You can keep your legs in one straight line. You don't have to have one in front. It's up to you. If you're doing the bum lift, same thing. You can keep your legs in line. Think about getting your center of gravity over your base of support. Or you can do the bum lift with a single leg bias. Entirely up to you. I'm showing you all the versions just in case you're doing something different. You've got 25 seconds. Last 25 seconds of hard work. Don't give up. Keep going. You're almost there. Last 20 seconds. Nicely done. Last 15. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Well done, everybody. Let's clasp our hands together and reach our palms towards the ceiling as high as we can. Like someone's pulling us up. We're stretching, lengthening through the spine. And then we're going to circle our arms down. Let's do one more. Clasp the hands, reach the palms to the ceiling. You can look up if you like. Think about lengthening through the spine. And circle the arms all the way down. I'm going to turn sideways for a second. I'm going to sit back in our chair and lean. We're going to slouch for this into our seat. And just make sure when you're slouching, kind of a little lower down. We don't want to be so high up here. We want to be slouched down a little further. And you're going to bring your hands up behind your ears and point those elbows out to the side. You'll go up and over your seat. If the back of your seat is quite high, this might not work as well. You might not be able to slouch as far. But you're thinking about going up and over the back of the seat, and you should feel a chest and an upper back stretch. Just be mindful not to go so far that you actually tip your chair and fall. And release the arms. One more, same thing. Hands up behind the ears, elbows pointing out to the side, up and over. And release. From here, we're going to straighten one leg out in front of us, like so. We're going to take our hands and place them on our legs. Keep the spine nice and long. We're going to hinge forward at the hips, keeping your back nice and straight if you can. And you should feel a stretch at the back of the leg. Doesn't matter if your foot is up or down. It does the same thing as long as you're hinging at the hips. Just if you have your toes up, you might get more of a nerve stretch, which doesn't really make a difference. You don't really need to be doing that, but it's up to you. And coming back up, same to the other side. Straightening the knee, nice and tall through the spine. Hinge at the hips forward, and try to reach the arms down as far as you can. And coming back up, I'm going to turn around and get these feet. I'm going to do a thigh stretch. It's a bit harder in sitting, but we can still do it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go on a diagonal, such that one bum cheek is kind of half on the seat, half off the seat. I'm going to bring that foot back and try to point my front knee down towards the floor as much as I can. Can you see that? My knee is towards the floor as much as possible. And I'm going to lean back into the seat. So I'm really lengthening from this knee up towards my my chest. I'm really lengthening, straining that side, and you should be able to feel a stretch at the front of your hip and in your thigh as long as you bring that foot back and pointing back and down, holding it for a few seconds. And then it probably feels a little awkward. And coming back up, let's do the same thing on the other side. You're going to go on a diagonal such that one bum cheek is kind of off the seat. And you're going to take your front leg and bring it back as far as you can, such that the front knee is pointing down at the floor. And you're going to lean back into the seat and really think about straightening from the knee all the way up to the chest. And you should feel a stretch at the front of the hip and thigh. Further back, you bring your foot, more you'll feel that. And coming back up, hands onto your hips. We're going to go heel lift and toes lift. So from the side it looks like this. Heel lift, toe lift. Just a couple of them. Heel lift, toe lift, heel lift, toe lift. And see if you can do them in the opposite direction. So one foot is doing a heel lift and one foot is doing the toe lift. And then you switch. And rest there. Okay, that's it. You are all done. Thank you for joining me for the seated exercise series. Again, my name is Shelley, and I'm a physiotherapist at the Society. This is my first class back from mat leave, so thank you very much for being with me for the last couple of weeks.